There is a balance to just about everything in life. And here's what I want you to know today. If you've watched any of my other videos, you probably have often heard me talking about how God instructs wives to show respect to their husbands. He does do that in Ephesians 5:33. You'll hear me talk about the verses in the Bible that command wives to submit to their husbands. You'll read about that in, for instance, Colossians 3:18. You'll hear me talk about how we're our husband's helper. You read about that in Genesis 2:18. And one of the primary ways we help our husbands is by encouraging them and allowing them to lead and just, pointing out what is good and right about them so they feel like they have the courage to step out and be a godly man. So those are all things we're supposed to do. Yes, indeed. And yet, sometimes I fear that we can go too far. And what I mean by that is we start to lose our own identity. We just view ourselves as almost like a doormat, that we're just here. We only exist to help our husbands, serve our husbands, just show him respect. Doesn't matter how he treats you. And we just become a doormat. Or we become just an empty shell of a person where you're not allowing yourself to do the things that bring you fully alive, the hobby, or, I don't know, but maybe you just love to entertain and you love to have people in your home, but you're just so busy serving your husband and doing what he wants that you no longer are doing the things that God created you to do. I think sometimes we run the peril of losing our own identity. And that is not what God has intended either. Yes, we do need to show respect to our husbands. And yes, we can help them by encouraging them, allowing them to lead, leaving room for them to lead. Yes, we should do all of those things. And yet you are also a very important person in and of yourself. You are the precious daughter of God. He has given you specific spiritual gifts. He has placed certain abilities and talents in you, a certain personality. And you're not intended to just be a doormat whose opinions don't matter, whose needs don't matter, whose feelings don't matter, whose talents and hobbies don't matter. Your heart matters to God. In fact, in Proverbs 4:23, interesting little proverb, God says this: above all else, guard your heart, for it is the wellspring of life. So if you feel like I'm talking to you, that this is basically your life right now, that you feel like you've become an empty shell, it's all about serving your husband, the world revolves around your husband or even your children, if that's you, I'd encourage you to sit down with your husband and say, hey, I think I've lost my way a little bit. Can we come up with some brainstorming ideas as to how I can have a little time to do the things that bring me fully alive, my hobbies or my giftings or whatnot? Have that discussion with him. And I bet you'll be receptive because, again, you are important to God. Your husband is important to God. It's not just one of you that counts.